everyone, my name is Devin Witten. Welcome back to my classroom. Today we are going to be discussing Reading for Meaning, which was chapter 1 of that Core 6 book that we read in class. So in this presentation, I'm going to explain what Reading for Meaning is. Even though it sounds super straightforward, there are a lot of strategies that can be implemented, which is the second portion of this presentation. And then finally, I'm going to tell you how I incorporate Reading for Meaning in my own classroom space. So let's begin. What is Reading for Meaning? Reading for Meaning is just making sure that the kids are actively engaged throughout the reading process and are able to make their own connections to either their personal life or to the book or the prompt in general, making their own relationships. That is how Reading for Meaning is established and how they are going to be able to increase their reading comprehension skills. So how do you do that? You need to make sure that you have a system set up so that the students are not just actively engaged during the reading process, but also engaging them before and after the reading process. So an example of this would be to make their own predictions about what they're going to be reading before the actual reading process, kind of setting up that scaffolding, maybe if there are strange words that they had never actually experienced within the reading, making sure that they understand those key phrases. Then in the during reading process, you give them some sort of directionality, what they are looking for, maybe a prompt to get them kind of in the mindset of what they're supposed to be working on. And then finally, the after part, which is just a reflection piece, making sure that they reflect upon what they have worked on before, and then the prompt they have worked on with the directionality during the reading process, and then, of course, the reflection piece after. So, in the book, and I know that this is backwards and I apologize, I'm working on the front-facing camera. This was an example that they gave within the text, and they gave a bunch of different examples. This is the example that they gave for the elementary English class. And in that class, they had been reading a book where a hare or a rabbit has deceived or tricked a bear. So this teeny tiny little thing has outsmarted a big thing, and he got out with his life, which is wonderful. But what they have done here is kind of the directionality piece before the reflection while they're reading. They have a statement here that says the hare deceived or tricked. They made sure that the kids understood that particular vocabulary word before they moved on with the reading. The bear. And in their small groups, they have to collaboratively figure out evidence for this statement and evidence against this statement. This is a really great way to get the kids in the mindset to find a way to make sure that they get the main points. So making those connections, Reading for Meaning, it's a buzzword. So there was also an example in math where they dissected word problems, which I think would have been really, really helpful if we had done that in my classroom, because I tend to latch on to the one thing that makes absolutely no difference in the problem, and then I overthink it. So if somebody had done Reading for Meaning with me in a math classroom, I think that I would have been much more successful in my math classes. How do I use Reading for Meaning in my classroom? This is kind of the third and the final point that I'm going to leave you with today. So what I do is I kind of provide reading guides before I give them anything, either a primary source document, if I'm having them read from their textbook, if I have an ebook that I have on the Google Classroom that I want them to read, I have them fill out this little reading guide and we talk about it together, kind of preconceived notions of what you think this is going to be about. Then during the reading, I like to give them a little bit of directionality. I suppose I could do much, much better at this, kind of giving them a main idea, like this is what I want you to understand after you read this, so that they are looking specifically for that main point. And then finally, we do reflect on our pre-reading strategy, our reading, and then how we feel about it afterwards. So that is Reading for Meaning. That's how it is implemented as a strategy within the Core 6 book, making sure that you have a before, during, and after reading process. And that is how I implemented it directly within my classroom. My name's Devin Witten, Bishop Ward High School, and really looking forward to watching the rest of your videos later on today.